Hey guys, today's video is the push-pull of borderline relationships is hell. I've lived this myself. I've dated several borderline women and they completely wasted my fucking time. This isn't every single borderline. I think that I've dated the ones that were antisocial, which means they had a co-occurring disorder of antisocial personality disorder, which made them borderline sociopathic. Um, because there is borderline women out there that have a lot to offer. They can be kind, they can be sweet, they can be loving. This is not every single borderline I'm talking about. I'm not talking about every single borderline. I'm talking about the malignant ones that are sociopathic. Um, which now about 50% of people around us are developing narcissistic patterns. So that's 1 out of 2 people are acting narcissistic. That's why it's so hard for us people to be out here in the dating world, because nowadays it's like 1 out of 2 people are a narcissist. It's like super high now. I think social media has had a lot to do with this. The brainwashing of women, the brainwashing of men. They've spent about 20 years trying to brainwash people, which they literally brainwash women around here to literally hate men. I mean, everywhere I go, I get hated and I've done nothing wrong just for being a man. Half the time, these women won't even make eye contact. I walk into a shopping center, they won't even make eye contact. I can literally have women feet away from me. They will not even say hi. That's the hatred of men that has been programmed into these women for the last 20 years. Literally, Facebook was programming them. The US government was programming them to have this feminism agenda, which is basically men hatred. That's how I would describe the feminism campaign, is men hatred. That's what it is summed up. It's the hatred of men. But the push-pull cycle of borderline is hell for us empaths. I consider myself a codependent empath, and so these narcissistic borderline people are attracted to me because I'm a helper. I like to help people. I care about people, but now I have to set boundaries with people. I tend to push people away because I've had such bad experiences with people. Tend to push women away because I've had such bad experiences with women. Nearly 95% of the women I've dated were all severely mentally ill. I didn't know that when I first started dating them. About 95% of them were severely mentally ill, which made my life a living fucking hell. The reason why these relationships are so devastating to men like me, being an empath, being a codependent, is because I get severely attached to these narcissistic women, severely attached to these borderline women. And the push-pull cycle is part of both of those disorders. If a borderline woman starts to feel too close to you, if she has that relational trigger, like one of my former ex-girlfriends that I wanted to have as a girlfriend, she couldn't date me because she had a trigger to relationships. She said, "Steve, relationships trigger me." Most likely, this is because boyfriends in her past have literally beat the shit out of her, knocked her upside the head, given her concussions. These are men that said they loved her. So I think in her book, relationships represent abuse. Relationships represent chaos. And then add in some child abuse, child neglect, bad parenting, and then you have a recipe for borderline personality disorder. The same woman told me that she blames her childhood for how fucked up her adult behavior is. This girl would monkey branch every 3 months to a new man. And the reason why that is because she had that relational trigger. Relationships trigger me. That's what she said to me. She said, "Steve, the reason why I can't date you is because relationships trigger me." So anytime I would try to get close to her, try to love her, maybe I said honey, maybe I said dear. These are all triggering her PTSD, which is that relational trigger. I believe this woman is suffering from borderline personality, which I'm not a doctor, but I've studied borderline intensely, and she fits almost every criteria for borderline personality, every criteria, like intense anger. This woman has literally flipped out on me in a vehicle for no reason, was foaming at the mouth. That's the intense anger of borderline personality disorder. They get extremely fucking mad. I've literally had a borderline girlfriend have me up by the throat in a psychosis of my building. I told her, honey, if the police see you, they're going to fucking stop. What does this girl do? She literally jumps on a fucking plane and leaves state, leaving me and her other friends devastated. That's the type of fucked up behavior you're going to get from narcissistic women. You're going to get ghosted. From borderline women, you're going to get ghosted. And the reason why is because they have those borderline triggers. They have those narcissistic triggers. They have those relational triggers. And it makes it extremely hard to be a boyfriend to these people because they have those PTSD triggers, relational triggers. And anytime us empaths get too close to these people, it triggers in them anxiety. It triggers in them the need to push you away. That's what the borderline push-pull is, the narcissistic push-pull. You know, the borderline comes into our lives love bombing us. Literally, it'd be like the first night this woman would be having sex with me. Then 3 weeks later, ghosts me. That beginning night of sex is the love bombing. She's using sex to bring me back into the relationship, only to ghost me 3 weeks later when the landlord kicked her dogs out. So that's what you're going to get, guys. You know, but the push-pull of borderline, that's what they do. They come into your life. They love bomb the fuck out of you. Empaths like me, they're severely attracted to codependent empaths. So they come into your life, they love bomb the shit out of you. And then because value, devalue cycles are part of borderline, they're going to value you and then they're going to start devaluing you. And that's where you're going to get the breakups. That's where you're going to get them pushing you away. That's where you're going to get them telling you they don't want to be your girlfriend, telling you that relationships trigger them. They have a closet. Some of these women have an actual closet hatred for men. Some of these women literally hate men. And that's why they can't have a relationship. Maybe they hated their father. Maybe they despise their father. You know, it's just like growing up. Maybe you got bit by a German Shepherd. As an adult, you're going to steer clear of German Shepherds if you were severely attacked as a child by a German Shepherd. That's no different. If this woman was a child and dad was beating the shit out of everybody, she starts to lose respect for the male race. She starts to lose respect for men in her life. She starts to resent men in her life. She starts to resent her father. And that's where the underlying hatred, it's inside. They bury it deep. It's an inside hatred for men. And that's why they can be so cruel. They are literally, some of these women, this is not every case. This is not every borderline. This is not every narcissistic woman. But in a lot of cases, they have literally no empathy for your feelings. They don't care if you're upset. They don't care if you kill yourself. They don't care at all how upset you are. As long as they're good, that's all they care about. And so that's the push-pull cycle is incredibly hard for the empath because us empaths, we get severely attached to these people. I mean severely attached to these people because we have a regular, healthy attachment style. Whereas these women, and this can go for men too, these women or men that have these mental illnesses, they have an unhealthy attachment style. Some of these people, some of these narcissistic borderline people have an inability to attach. They have an inability to pair bond. They've actually proven that when someone has multiple sexual partners, a high body count, they have an inability to pair bond. That's what happened to me with a lot of the girls I dated. They had a high body count, so they had an inability to pair bond. They've scientifically proven that when a woman has a high body count, she has an inability to pair bond. That's what's going on when you're trying to date these promiscuous women that have multiple partners in their history. They have an inability to attach to you in a healthy way. That's why they're going to so quickly ghost you. That's why they're going to quickly break up with you because they're not attaching to you. They're not pair bonding you. Like the borderline that was in my life, she was incredibly, she could be the sweetest girl in the world. She could be the sweetest girl in the room. Like one time she tiled my bedroom floor just to be sweet. One time she cleaned my bathroom just to be sweet. Probably she cleaned it because she wanted to use it, but she nonetheless cleaned my bathroom. So borderline women do have a lot of positives. They can be good listeners. They can be good talkers. They can be there for their friends. They can show up when you're in need. You know if they're a close friend. But you as the empath, you as the codependent, you have to understand that a lot of these people with mental illnesses have the inability to pair bond. That's why they can be so quick to ghost you, so quick to let you go, so quick to break up, because they're not bonding to you. They're not having a relationship with you, because in their mind, they have a deep-seated hatred for men that you don't know about. Maybe their dad was sexually abusing them. Maybe their dad was beating the shit out of them. So they lost respect for men. They start resenting men. They start using men as a means to an end. They start exploiting men for resources. That's where you're going to get from the narcissistic woman. If she has a horrible history and a high body count, you're going to get the inability to pair bond. You're going to get, fucked up behaviors like this narcissistic woman has multiple partners. You might be trying to date a narcissistic woman or a borderline woman. They'll literally cut you off from sex. Once they know that you want to be the boyfriend, they don't even want to go there. So they cut you off from sex, because relationships trigger a lot of these people that are used to being independent boss babes. A lot of these borderline narcissistic women are used to being independent sole contractors, where they don't want a man in their life. You're gonna quickly see some of these feminist women become more feminine when the shit hits the fan, when World War III starts, when the bullets are flying. You're gonna see these aggressive, masculine women become more soft. They're gonna be hiding behind me when the bullets are flying and I'm shooting at the enemy or whatever. That's when you're gonna see them in their feminine state. But right now, because of 20 years of brainwashing on Facebook, the US government used Facebook to brainwash these young women to literally hate men, literally hate people. A lot of these narcissistic women have no respect for the men in their life because they have that deep-seated hatred for men. A lot of these narcissistic women have no clue that it's their behavior. That's why they can't maintain relationships, because of their fucked up behavior. Some of these narcissists literally have no fucking morals or integrity, so they do incredibly fucked up shit. Like one of the narcissistic women that I tried to date literally asked me to drive her on a date with another man because she told me I was verbally abusive to her, when all I was upset about was she kept on running out with other men, going to the bar, getting drunk, fucking complete losers. Meanwhile, withholding sex from me when I was awesome to her. I was an awesome boyfriend, and she would withhold sex. And I'm like a porn star. I'm amazing in bed. I'm literally amazing in bed. But this woman would withhold sex from me. They do that as part of the emotional abuse. They do that to get you to chase them. They withhold sex to be in control. They withhold sex to make you feel like a piece of shit. They withhold sex to feel superior over you. They withhold sex to make you chase them. They withhold sex to make you constantly desire them. They withhold sex to be in that dominant position. If you're dating a woman and she's withholding sex from you, my recommendation is back off. Maybe you can still be the person's friend, but I wouldn't try to be their boyfriend anymore. If they're going to withhold sex, then that's the end of the relationship. Maybe you guys can just be friends moving forward. Get together for a cup of coffee. Newsflash, if somebody likes you, they want to have sex with you. So if they're withholding sex from you, that means they've lost attraction to you. They've lost desire for you. The best thing you can do is just break up and move on to someone that will treat you well, somebody that will care about you, somebody that will love you. Because life is too fucking short to be involved with abusive people. Be involved with people that are giving you silent treatments. Being involved with people that are ghosting you, which is devastating to empaths and codependents like myself. I literally almost killed myself over a borderline woman ghosting me on Christmas Eve. The next day I went to work with a plan to kill myself. Was literally going to kill myself, but a friend talked me out of it. A friend talked me out of the suicide, guys. He ended up dying of a drug overdose, but before he died, he talked me out of suicide. I'd like to thank him for it. His name was Levi. Rest in peace, Levi, and thank you for keeping me alive. Never underestimate the power of being a good friend, guys. You can be a good friend out there. You can save lives. But that's why the push-pull of borderline and narcissism is so devastating to us empaths, codependents, because we get severely attached to these people. That's why it's so hard when they just rip that candy away, just like ripping candy away from a baby. Hey, baby, you want the Snickers? And then you rip the Snickers away and say, no, you can't have it. That's what borderline women do. They get you all attached to them through the love bomb. They'll literally come over and fuck the shit out of you. They'll literally come over and say that you're the awesomest boyfriend ever. Literally, I had a borderline girlfriend crying at the bar, literally crying over my shoulder, telling me that I'm the only man that can put up with her shit. What does she do? What does she do? She literally moves out of my place the next day after the landlord kicked her dogs out. I had people in the building that had to wake up early, and she had two little yapping dogs, and so they were calling the landlord complaining about her yapping dogs. And so then the landlord told me on a final warning, if you don't get rid of these fucking dogs, I'm going to kick you out. This woman just wanted me to just let the dogs stay, and I was going to be evicted and had nowhere to go. So I had to ask the dogs to go. Literally, when I had to ask the dogs to go, the next day she moves out. She ghosts me. This is going on 3 years, guys. That's why I was so devastated again and again and again. This was a cycle with this particular borderline. She would come into my life, and then she would get triggered by those relational triggers and then ghost me. Come into my life, love bomb me, get triggered by my love, and then leave again, leaving me devastated. Come in my life, get me all attached, and then leaving me devastated. They do this push-pull behavior where you go away, then they pull you back, and then they push you away when you get too close. And then they push you away and pull you back, push you away and pull you back. That's what you're going to get from borderline. I literally had a borderline woman call me up one time and say, Steve, why am I pushing and pulling on you? Because you're a borderline. That's one of the main symptoms of borderline personality disorder is a love-hate cycle. Narcissists do the same type of behaviors. They push-pull. It's in the same cluster B personality. Narcissistic personality and borderline personality are both cluster B personalities. So they have similar behaviors, similar traits. You know, and like I said, guys, I'm not a doctor. I'm just going on what I've studied. I've studied a lot. I've gone to college. I've got 130 college credits in psychology and mental health. I spent like literally 15 years working with adults in group homes, 5-6 years working with kids in group homes. So I have a lot of mental health experience in the field dealing with human beings. I have a lot of experience dealing with fucked up borderline women. This isn't, like I said, guys, this is not every borderline. There's some very kind, very sweet, very loving borderline women out there. It might even be one of you ladies watching this video. One of you might have borderline and be the sweetest woman in the world, but you just have borderline. I'm talking about the malignant antisocial ones that have antisocial personality disorder as a co-occurring disorder. You can have narcissism, you can have antisocial, and you can have the borderline all at the same time, which is an extremely toxic combination for their partners like me. If you like this video, guys, you can like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to leave my butterfly shirt down below. If you guys want to check out my merch, I'm going to leave a link that you can copy and paste into Amazon to see my latest butterfly shirt that I've designed. In case you guys want to buy a butterfly shirt, you can see all my 500 designs by copying and pasting that link into the Amazon search bar. I hope you guys have a great day. And, you know, just to sum up this video, basically they get you all attached and then they ghost you, and it leaves the empath devastated because we get severely attached. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Till next time, Steve-O signing out. Boop.